It's your boy JopauL. We get lit, we get fly, we get drunk, we get high, but to the masses, we the podcast called Verified. Today we got a very special show. We got international comedian extraordinaire. We got hit song maker with rapper Big Boogaloo. Without further ado, my man Aries Spears, thank you. I appreciate it. I feel like we need to have like a crowd or something. I'm gonna see if I can get like a sample to have like a.
It's all good, baby. It's all good, man. I work under whatever conditions.
Good, man. Good. That's good. And especially under the current climate, of what we're dealing with, with this COVID shit, you got to be prepared to work in, every climate. And well, where you calling in from anyway?
Right now, I am in Dallas, Texas.
Dallas? Hold on.
I'm yeah. I'm in the petri dish of this shit.
Damn, I'm saying it's got to be tough during these times because I've been a performer for years, but on a comedian standpoint, it's like I know you guys feed off the crowd. Is my audio okay? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, no, you good.
Perfect. I know that comedians feed off the audience, so it's got to be a little trying at this time. You kind of have to show that you're not like a one-trick pony, so to speak. So, and I know that I've been following your career for years. So, how has this experience how has it been treating you?
It's a little weird and surreal because of the social distancing. Like normally, everybody's sitting together and everybody's tight and compact, but everything is spread out. So it doesn't give you a feeling like it's full. And, this is an intimate thing we do performing. So in order for us to connect with the crowd and the crowd connect back to us, there needs to be a closeness. So the spreading out makes it a little bit weird. And then looking out into the crowd and you can hear the laughs coming through the masks. So it really doesn't sound any different, but because it looks different, it feels different. I prefer condomless comedy, man. Okay. I like no masks. I like people up close because that's what we do.
I respect it. And do you kind of have a sense when you're performing now that you're kind of doing it for the greater good because people need to laugh and people need to get, out of, that current environment of like, oh shit, if we go outside, we could possibly die. And, it's a rough terrain.
Listen, man, it's again, I always say, man, part of America's greatness is also part of its, what's the right word I'm looking for? It's part of its downfall, We're confident, but we're arrogant. You know what I mean? And we don't like to be told we don't like to be told how to live our lives. And one thing that I've noticed and one thing that this whole COVID thing has taught us, and by us, I mean, let's be honest, black people is, white people don't like being told what to do. They don't like being told to wear these masks. And to black people, it's funny because we had to wear chains. So y'all bugging about masks? You see all this shit on social media, white folks holding summits, bugging out at grocery stores because they don't want to wear these masks. And of course, not all, because a lot of them do, and a lot of them get it, and a lot of them want to be safe and keep other people safe. But we come from a country where we do what the fuck we want to do. So being told to stay at home, can't go here, can't go there, can't go to a bar, can't drink, can't be yourself, it's frustrating. And people ain't really feeling that.
I feel like we live in like an anti-sheep culture where it's like anything where we're labeled as sheeple or like following the masses is deemed historically bad. Now more than ever, I feel that we need to use common sense rather than taking any sort of stance on things because it shows wearing a mask. I'll give you a perfect example that somebody told me was pretty funny with regards to masks. So this story is a little crazy, but so you're sitting on a beach, okay, and you're tanning, and naked guy runs up to you and pisses on you. There's a 100% chance that you're going to get peed on. Correct? Can we agree on that?
Sure.
Okay. The next day, you are lying on the beach and you're like, you know what? Just in case this guy's fucking going to run around and pee on me again, let me put some clothes on. So So the naked guy runs up to you again, pisses on you. The clothes absorb a lot of the pee, but the pee still gets through. Can we agree?
Now, let me ask you before you continue. Is this the same naked man that pissed on you before?
Absolutely. They haven't called the cops on him yet. They haven't arrested him. They haven't done nothing yet. Okay, so
but hold up. If we talking about, and I think most white people too, but let's be specific. If we talk about niggas and Hispanics, that man doesn't get a second time to pee on you. He's buried in the sand.
Facts. Let's call it white people.
He's sleeping with the fishes. But okay, go ahead.
Agree. But this is metaphorically speaking, of course.
There you go. Okay.
So the next day, this naked guy, for some reason or another, says, you know what? They might call the cops on me for being naked. So let me put clothes on. So, but he still runs up to you and tries to pee on you. Majority of that pee doesn't get through his clothes. And whatever does get through his clothes might get absorbed by your clothes, but it's the least likely possibility that pee is going to touch your skin. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Basically what I'm saying is everyone needs to wear a fucking mask. That's it.
Yeah. Okay? That was a hell of an example, but I got you.
Yeah. So I might have butchered it. But anyway, so let's get started. Tell the people where you're from. Give us a little example about how you grew up, and I'll give you a couple of questions based on those answers.
From New York, grew up in Manhattan. Yeah, grew up in Manhattan, and then shortly after that, for most of my teenage years, moved to Jersey, Exit 9, North Brunswick, Rutgers. Started doing stand-up at 14. Came up in that era before Def Jam. Knew Bob Sumner, who actually was the brain behind Def Jam.
It's funny you say Bob Sumner. He was just on live with my man Rob Love last night. So I learned all about it. Shout out to Rob Love. Shout out to Bob Sumner. It was like an hour of the history of how everything came to be. So it's funny, I want people to recognize, that watch this, that Aries Spears is literally connected to every piece of the foundation of the comedy world that we live in right now. And I feel, a lot of respect needs to be thrown on his name.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Everybody knows that, while Russell Simmons and Stan Lathan's name was behind it, the real muscle for Def Jam was Bob Sumner, because he gathered all the talent and discovered the Bill Bellamy's and the Steve Harveys and everybody that's major stars today. I did Def Jam when I was 16 years old. The next year I did Showtime at the Apollo when I was 17.
That's what's up.
Cut to.
How'd they perceive you at the Apollo?
Well, a lot of people assume when I say that, I mean, like I did Amateur Night. I didn't do Amateur Night. I was beyond that because I had already done Def Jam. So I was a featured comic.
Oh, so you were already the man. Okay,
I was already the man in terms of that, having a television credit. So I did that, and then cut to, I moved to LA when I was 22 for like moved to LA when I was 17. And for like the next 5 years, I was just stuck in what was called development deals. Back then, they gave you a development deal, which took you off the market for about a year. They don't do that no more. But they used to give you a development deal, and it would pay you like a shitload of money to say that they basically not owned you, but had the rights to your services. So I did that for about 5 years with every network. Nothing really ever came to play. By the time I was 22, I got on Madtv on Fox, did that for 8 years. After that, I did a year on Showtime with Damon Wayans on a show called The Underground.
Okay, and let's go back real fast. So when you moved to LA, I got to assume it was during the time of the Biggie and Pac East Coast West Coast war.
Yeah.
If you're an 80s baby like me and you're around my age, that was like right around the time that everything was popping off. So how was it as an East Coast artist, so to speak? I mean, I don't know if it went like that in the talent world, because when you're funny, like no matter what. Like you can't put anything on that. So did you get any sort of, like, you feel like they put you in a box because like you on the East Coast and they had a
Nah, because comedy and music are two different worlds. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was in the music industry, and even at that, unless I'm a rapper in the music industry, if I was just an R&B singer, it doesn't affect you. You
Okay.
know, so being in comedy, those are two different worlds, man. So it had no effect on me whatsoever.
Okay, but you feel like they stuck you in development deals. See, us in like the late '90s, we were basically put in. They were 360 deals that were shaped into what's called production deals, where they basically would kind of shelf you and put you in a corner, put all the main stars first, and basically they would just leave you out to the dust, and they didn't really give a fuck. Because most of these labels, you know, I don't know if it's the same way in comedy, but you know, 99% of their revenue comes from 1% of their artists. So all of those other artists are like tax deductions for them and write-offs, and they'll spend absorbent amount of money knowing that those artists ain't gonna blow, but they'll use it as like an offset for their main artist that's pulling in millions. So so when you got your deal for Madtv, how did that actually like come to be? Did you have to audition for it? Was it a concept that you developed? And I don't know if the world knows, but I think the world owes you a debt of gratitude because because you helped them show the softer side of Earl.
You know, I actually auditioned for Madtv during its first season, before they ever got established. But I was in a situation where I was stuck contractually with Aaron Spelling. And for those of you who don't know, Aaron Spelling was the muscle behind shows like Beverly Hills 90210, Melrose Place, Crescent Heights. He was a big deal back then. So I was stuck on a pilot called Crosstown Traffic, which was basically an updated version of the Mod Squad. So I thought that I could get out of that to do Madtv, but he wouldn't release me. So I ended up not being able to do the first season of Madtv, but then eventually I went back to signing a deal with Fox. And the Peter Chernin, the head of Fox at the time, again, like all the other holding deals, was trying to develop a show for me. And when that didn't come to play, as my deal was expiring, he said, look, man, I'm a fan of yours. I love what you do. I want you on this network. So why don't we just put you back on, put you on Madtv? So because Mad was on Fox and my deal was with Fox and my deal was expiring and the head of the network didn't want to let me go, he just, said, yo, put him on Mad. You wanted him then, you want him now. So I ended up joining third season and was with him for 8 years after that.
And produced some of the funniest content I've ever seen in my fucking life. I mean,
appreciate it, brother.
And I'm not just saying that just because I'm interviewing you or something like that. Like, I mean, like we had a brief conversation the other day about, I'm gonna be able to tell my story through this platform, as well as learning yours. But part of my, I don't want to say childhood because I was like, I was a young adult, but part of my life included waking up, heading over to my boy Triggers in East New York, smoke mad blunts all day, do our rap shit, go record, go hang out with Ice, go do this. And knowing that I'd be coming back to my apartment in Brooklyn and I'd be throwing on like 2 to 3 hours of Aries Spears just to fucking get baked and laugh my ass off. And
I love it, man.
And that was a successful day for me, so, and I mean that. If you put a polygraph test on me, that would be considered the truth. I would not be deceptive at all. So believe me.
Listen, let me say something. This is something I've always envied about rap and athletes. Athletes and rappers seem to be the only people, as far as entertainment goes, who can come with a bravado and a confidence and go, I'm the best. But when anybody else does it, if you're not an athlete, be it a comedian or a singer, it's frowned upon, like we're arrogant. And I always believed
that's amazing that you say that. When you put that in perspective, and I'll let you finish, that's really the only place where you can state your confidence and that's accepted. But in in the comedy world, then you'd be like, oh, this motherfucker thinks who the fuck he is. All right.
Right. So I'm saying that to say I have been perceived so much as being this arrogant dude, but I've always believed in my work. And if I put forth the effort and I put the energy in there and I'm going 100%, why can't I sit back and go, you know what? I deserve something more. I want something more. I deserve better. So I'm saying all that to say, when you look at my body of work from Madtv for 8 years, and you look at some of my stand-up specials, certainly the first Shaq's All-Star Comedy Jam with Kevin Hart, D-Ray, and Tommy Davidson, I've been perceived as bitter, and it's got nothing to do with bitter. I just want my just due. And listen, much hats off and much love to Key and Peele. And Jordan Peele's certainly a phenomenal award-winning director now. And Keegan Michael Key is blown up. But I always felt like a lot of the cast members on Madtv exclude me from it for a second. Will Sasso, Deborah Wilson, Nicole, Alex. Well, Alex is fine, but a lot of them didn't get their just due. A lot of them never got what I felt they deserved and should be bigger names, like a lot of the alumni from Saturday Night Live. Now, I don't know whether that's due to bad timing. Back then, it wasn't a social media age.
Right.
I don't know what it is, but I always felt like a lot of us didn't get the credit that we deserve. We should be household names and bigger stars. And again, I say that because I believe in my work. I believe in what I did, and I do believe I'm one of the best. But again, I get frowned upon for saying that, and I'm called bitter and egotistical. And I just never bought into that.
I have a theory about how you're perceived and how you really are. Okay, so for my viewers out there, which I don't know how many we're gonna have, I'm hoping, hopefully, reaches everyone. We always wish we had a bigger platform, but anyway. Unlike other comics that do impressions of rappers, you actually have bars. Like So what I mean by that, so let me clarify that. So for a comedian to not only impersonate the rapper, but to write bars that legendary artist actually would say, deserves you a right to say, yo, I'm the baddest motherfucker that walked the block. So y'all motherfuckers can come if you want and take your shot. So I understand it's like it's a pimp mentality. It's like, yo, I run this track. Y'all my hoes. And this is how my confidence, breeds through, because unlike y'all, I actually got bars. I know how to spit. And you have a rapper's confidence trapped in a comedian persona. So so unless they're that deep and they can feel that fucking shit, which hopefully they see this and they be like, what did that white boy just say? That makes perfect sense. So you have the rapper's confidence because you body that shit. Like when you did the DMX, verse, when you did
right.
even the intro to, with LL, where he's like, nothing makes you want to, put some ice cream, run down your genitals. Like even that, like you bodied an intro like him.
Right.
So right. That's where the confidence comes from. That's my theory. I've always said that when people try to say, oh, who's your favorite artist? Who's your favorite comedian? I'm like, yo, Aries Spears, because I'm a lyricist, or at least,
right.
that's my rapper. And I'm like, yo, he's got bars besides a comic presence. So
yeah, listen, man, no, you hear a lot of, pardon me, you hear a lot of athletes, even through trying to be humble, say shit like, I don't read the papers. I don't listen to the critics. Yeah, you do. Yeah, they do. Because no one gets into this game called entertainment trying to half-ass it. Nobody gets into this game trying to be mediocre. We all want to be the best. We all strive to be that dude. So there's no way that you can strive for that physically and not have it with a mentality. It comes with it. So, again, everything you just said, I believe, I've said it, but I'm not supposed to say that. And I'm looked down upon for saying that.
Shit, that's why I'm here. So I just said it. I meant it. I bite my tongue for no one. Call me evil or unbelievable. So, that's my take on it. And like I said, I've been a fan for years, but there's a whole bunch of things that I want to talk about. One of the we could probably talk for hours and hours. I don't know how much time we have, but you know, whenever you're like, all right, Joe, listen, I'm tired. I got a show tonight. I got this one.
I got about an hour in me. You know.
Okay. All right. Listen, we'll go into we'll go into the wheels fall off. You know, pardon the pun of another comedian, but one of the things that really stuck out is besides your comic presence, you also have an activist role, you know, inside of you. You know, I feel like you have a passion to speak and to reach the ill-informed. And I like that you break down the barriers with some comedic relief in order to make them kind of raise their eyebrows. I call it the Matrix effect, you know, where you basically pull up the shades from reality and expose what really is, because a lot of people are misinformed. I feel like racism and hatred is a very learned behavior at the early stages of life. So, you know, with regards to like police reform, if an officer has been raised in a household where they had racist parents and they were using the N-word like it was nothing, and they wouldn't allow black people in the house, and there's no way that that officer can be objective to the black community given his upbringing. Similar like with radical terrorism. It's like they've been taught to hate anybody that's not of their kind, and death to them, and who cares? So it's like it's very hard to really change people's perspective on things of that nature. So, you know, I wanted to touch on basically when you said how Barack did nothing for black people, and then you came and flipped it and said, you know what he did? He now gave you the ability to tell your son or your daughter, look, that's possible. For people that said it wasn't, you know, well, like what did it, like you said, I'm butchering the quote, but you said it's like, what did he expect you to get? Like a pair of like Air Force Ones, you know, and like what is he supposed to do, you know, as the first guy in office, you know, with coming off of one of the worst economic turns, you know, with the mortgage crisis, you know, and the bailout. It's like, what did you really expect he was going to be able to do? You know, he's not going to be able to like do everything and perform miracles. He's not a superhuman, but I do feel like he was the best example of what a president should be. His demeanor, his presence, his cadence, his whole everything. There's literally, until somebody can literally point out something wrong that Barack did, he'll always be my president. So,
well, listen, we live in an age where everybody can point something wrong in you no matter what you do.
We're human. We're human though. Like he's not a superhuman.
I just hate the fact that black people have gotten so comfortable. A lot of us have gotten so comfortable that we could just push aside the importance of cultural symbolism. You know, I get what a lot of them were saying in terms of, well, he could have signed some things in terms of some bills in terms of what the police have been doing to us and all of this and all of that. But again, I say politically, given the racial circumstances that he was dealing with, and we know this country has a history of racism towards us, y'all thought that he wasn't being fought tooth and nail by a racist right-wing Congress? Y'all think that, I always call this guy Mitch McCullough, but it's actually Mitch something. It might be Mitch McCullough, who personally said, I would denounce or deny anything Barack tried to do. You know, well, how much could he have done in 2 terms, you know, given what he was fighting? And besides all that, I say, look at the list of all his accomplishments. You mean to tell me black people didn't benefit from none of that? He turned the country around financially. Black people didn't benefit from that. He saved Ford Motor Company. Black people that work for Ford didn't benefit from that. He took out Osama bin Laden. To all the black family members who have lost, to all the black people who have lost black family members, be it firefighters, policemen, people that were killed in the World Trade Center, people that were killed in the Pentagon, to all those, none of those black people who had family members that were lost during 9/11 didn't get closure. They might have got closure from the fact that he finally took out the mastermind behind 9/11. All the things that Barack did accomplish, I'm quite sure black people benefited from. So to somehow nitpick and go, well, he didn't do this and he didn't do that. He did the best he could given the racial circumstances. And as I said before, being the first of anything is a tremendous weight to bear. But to be the first black president in the United States history, that's a huge weight to carry. And just like
when the country was founded, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Yo, the country was founded on slavery and racism.
It was the White House was built by slaves. So to culturally, in terms of cultural symbolism, to now have a black man with a black first lady and black children inhabiting the White House and running the country, that alone is a victory enough in itself. You know, Jackie Robinson was the first black ball player. Did he solve all of baseball's racial ills? No, it would take more than him. It would take Willie Mays.
He took all the brunt of everything. Just like
exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He was the comedian that had to stand on stage and let them throw tomatoes at him and basically stand there and take it. So
right. It would take Willie Mays. It would take Hank Aaron. So it's the same principle behind the first black president. It's going to take the 5th or the 6th or the 7th or the 8th black president before we truly get this thing right. This was a huge first-time experiment. What are you asking for, perfection? That's impossible. And again, let me say this before I put this to bed. As I've said, historically in this country, white people have done things, have put things in place systemically and systematically to protect their own. It's the reason why Medgar Evers' killer was not brought to trial until he was damn near dead. It's the reason why the guy responsible for killing the 4 black girls in that church bombing got off. It's the reason why cops kill us and get off. They're protected by the system. And just like all those right-wing white men that acquitted Donald Trump while he was impeached for treason and betraying the country, they looked out for their own. Why can't we as a people look out for our own? Why are we throwing one of our own under the bus when they continuously protect their own? I'm not doing that. I'm simply not going to do that.
You want to know, yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because the passion that you just showed is something that a lot of people are scared to do for reasons of whatever proportions, social status, how they're going to look in front of, certain Republican friends, but really what it all comes down to, it's organization. Like it's organization. We need an entire movement similar to what basically just happened, because of George Floyd, to basically come up and really fight for the right causes, the right changes. Talk is good. Execution is what we're after. So, I feel like there needs to be, how you just spoke with that passion, we need more of you out there. We need more of Killer Mike out there. We need more D.L. Hughley out there. We need more people like Michael Rappaport that are shedding the light on the truth, and telling it from a perspective like, yo, motherfucker, listen to what the fuck I'm saying, because I'm a real motherfucker and I'm not going to fucking gas you up. It's like, listen and look and observe. Here is what the fucking truth is. Also, what it comes down to, and I don't know if it's good to talk about this on my first episode, but fuck it, whatever. I feel like there needs to be accountability in the sources of news that people get brainwashed from. There's a channel that I'm not going to say their name, but literally spits out the worst shit I've ever heard in my life. Some propaganda, some real fake news. Like they have fake doctors on there giving medical advice when it's not even their field and they're not even in practice at the moment. They fit a narrative that brainwashes a large portion of the country. And it kind of makes me sick. And I hope that in the future, there's accountability with news stations and outlets that do spit out that fake shit and cause to divide and give your own opinions, from a radical right-wing perspective, which is bullshit. We're in the United States of America, not the divided States of America. So we could beat that, to death. But there's other things that, I want to talk about.
It's funny. I actually spoke to Killer Mike yesterday, because I want him to do my podcast, and one of the things he said before he got off the phone was
salute to your podcast. I'm gonna try to have the link to Aries and Steinberg. That's the correct
Spears and Steinberg.
Spears and Steinberg. I caught a couple of episodes. I love it. Anything that involves you, I'm all about. So whatever I can do to kind of help that out, you let me know.
No doubt. Killer Mike was just like, yeah, man, I want to fuck with you because, I like rebels, and you seem to be a rebel. So I kind of relished in that a little bit. So when you said Killer Mike, I just wanted to throw that out there.
That's what's up. So what did you guys actually talk about? I want to hear about that
conversation. We didn't really get into one. It was more or less me hitting him up, letting him know, hey man, I want to fuck with you, and vice versa. That was all. It was quick.
Okay, all right, that's what's up. I mean, I think you and him together, that's some information that the world needs to know. So I mean, I wish that there was like a platform that like almost like breaking news, I'll try to like DM like some people on CNN and be like, yo, Killer Mike and Aries Spears are having a conversation. The world needs to stop and listen to this shit. So just my opinion.
I got you.
So, speaking about opinions, anyone that just joined, do me a favor, mute your phones just in case there's any feedback, please. Rob Love, what up, baby?
What up?
Rob, we were literally just talking about Bob Sumner, earlier today, and I was telling him that he was on your show, and I learned a whole bunch of shit. So shout out Rob Love, iconic Def Jam team over here. We got a bunch of heavy hitters that have tuned in. Have you been watching the Versus battles? Because I know you're a fan of hip hop.
Yeah, no, I've been, pardon me, I've been meaning to catch him. I haven't been able to catch him yet.
If you need to get a drink, roll a blunt, pour yourself
No, I'm good, brother.
Whatever you need to do. Listen, it's your world. I'm just here, baby.
It's all love, man.
So did you get to check out the Rob? Do me a favor, mute your phone, baby. So did you get to check out the Jada versus Fabulous battle?
I did, man. I'm gonna catch it though.
That shit was hysterical. Like that was an epic night of hip hop right there. Like there was during this whole quarantine, like there've been a couple of like legendary things that have happened. Like I'm glad Shampoo's on the line because he invited me to it. We one of the things that I experienced during the quarantine, legendary hip hop moment. We got invited to a historic Zoom phone call with Nori and Tragedy Gaddafi about the whole war report, thing where it was kind of, he didn't, Tragedy never denied that he didn't write the war report. So Nori kind of called him out on it, which I'm glad they settled it because they did it in a very funny way, but it was like legendary to watch, Nori, someone that, one of my favorite artists, that I grew up, and, him breaking down how the war report was. So it's like, that was a legendary moment of hip hop. So with this Jada versus Fabulous, that was legendary. Two people in the same room. They both had their DJs. Shout out to Timberland. Shout out to Swiss. This was probably like the most fun that I've had in years.
Who won?
Top 5 dead or alive, and that's just off one LP. Jada, if you look at the memes that are going, like there's a meme called Jada Drunk, where he's like this, like in his yellow outfit, and homeboy was twisted. It was cool because if you're a real hip hop head, you were probably watching that drinking, and me, I'm a real hip hop head, so I like to get sauced up whenever possible, especially because that's the beauty of this game. I can do what I want. I make my own rules.
There you go.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna fuck with me, It's like, which is good. It's just like the conversation. It's like I could say I'm the best, and nobody. People got like, yo, check my credentials. Find one person in the industry to say something bad about me, and if they do, I probably fuck their wife, their sister, or their mother. I'm sorry about that, but they were asking for it. So anyway, Jada definitely won the battle. It was a celebration, but it was a massacre at the same time. It is, like one of my favorite artists, but Jada,
Yeah, Fabulous is definitely a lyricist, and he's definitely to be respected in the hip hop game. But I'm gonna put it in boxing terms. There's weight divisions. You know, it just feels like, you know, with all proper respect, you know, Fabulous is a championship welterweight, where Jada is a champion heavyweight. And, you know, one is fighting the other, and they both champions, but one's out of their division.
I feel you. So it's kind of like Tommy Hearns going against, like, you know, Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, man. You know, both are champions, both to be respected, but there's a difference.
I feel you. And I know that you can actually the fact that I could say this with confidence, I respect your opinion, because like I said before, you have bars, so you're gonna respect bars. So
well, listen, man, I'm like you. I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 75. So I was there for the birth of rap, you know what I'm saying? And I've seen it all the way to where it is now. So, you know, and I came up in that golden era that called the 90s, when lyrics mattered. You know what I'm saying? When production mattered.
Yes.
You know, and
speak to him.
Individualism mattered.
Preach.
Sounding like yourself and nobody else mattered. You know.
Can I get an amen?
Before auto-tune. I mean, it just, you know, it was a different era.
Who was let's get off topic real fast, but who was some of, like, I know this sounds like a real generic question, but who was in your tape deck? Like, who was in your Sony Walkman when you were going to school? Like, paint that picture as the 15, 16-year-old kid.
We talking 80s and 90s, though.
Okay, hey, listen, that's fine with me, man. I'm an 80s baby myself. Listen, I was breakdancing across the street, me and my twin brother, to Ice-T's Original Gangster. We were doing head spins on cardboard boxes, early 80s. So, you know, ain't nothing new, baby, you know? So,
okay, so, you know, in the 80s, it was LL Cool J, Run DMC, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, and if I had to give that fifth spot, probably KRS-One.
Okay.
Now, 90s, Jay-Z, Nas, Biggie, Jada, probably Eminem a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, Eminem, one of the baddest lyricists, you know, in the universe.
Yeah.
I respect it. Even though, like, I ain't gonna lie, you know, as a early upcoming MC, I was in the gangster rap world. My name was Lyric Enforcer, and that's exactly what I used to do. I'm not sure if you ever heard of me or something like that, but whatever. But even though I tried to, like, diss him when I first started, and I listen to it now, and I'm like, damn, God, thank God this never fucking took off or anything like that, because homeboy would have bodied the shit out of me.
Listen, let me tell you my quick Eminem story. Back in LA, there was a place called Jerry's Deli, which was across the street from the Beverly Center, the major mall. And this is the place everybody would go to when the clubs let out, because it was 24 hours. So it'd be packed in there, 2:30 in the morning, people eating. This was before Eminem blew up. I'm sitting there with, you know, a couple of my people. Eminem came up to me. He was a real playful dude. He came up to me, and I guess he tried to crack a joke or something because he knew who I was. And I basically was like, called him a cornball. I was like, yo, this nigga's a herb, yo. So he walked away from the table, and I heard him stop and say to his boys, yo, he just called me a herb? So he turned around, came back, and he was like, yo, I just want to let you know, my name is Eminem. I'm going to blow up, and I'm going to be major. You're going to see. I was like, yeah, whatever, nigga. Bounce. Cut to, hi, my name is, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, have you seen him since?
No, I haven't. And I've always been curious to know, if I did run into him, would he even remember that?
Gotcha. You know what? Your next rant on IG, I think you should do that. Tag him. See if you could listen, because I would love to see, like, what his response was, you know, and maybe you speak this. Listen, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't realize. You know, I was arrogant back then. I didn't realize that you were going to be the world's, you know, best lyricist or stuff like that. But I mean, because I think he has a podcast too. So it's like, you know, I think everyone has a voice nowadays. So it's like, you know, like I said, whatever I can do to help, you know, big up your platform. You know, I know that there's gonna be some funny shit and there's gonna be some real shit. So, you know, I enjoy you. You know, I appreciate you from the white community. We love you.
All love, man.
Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Okay, Here's some. Now, rapper Big Boogaloo. When you wrote the song "Fuck a Book," now, granted, that song without the theatrics and stuff like that, in the club, that shit would probably bang, and in that time, that shit probably would have done like numbers. Like, I think you were too revolutionary for the time. I think.
Just so you know, I agree with you, but understand what that was. That was me kind of subtly shitting on the state of where hip hop was at the time. So the idea, I'm just saying, the idea of, got you. So the idea of something that was intended to be garbage could possibly be a hit was my whole point.
Which a lot of hip hop is. So the fact that you were able to do that at that time, here's my question. Obviously, you're standing out there in Speedos, and you got a homie, you're like, when I call him my man, he's really my man.
Yeah.
Now, and I think that, and I commend you for that, because I understand you're an entertainer, and that doesn't mean like, you're like, oh yeah, I really fucks with dude. Man. So,
well, to this day, I still catch flack for that from a lot of dudes. Man, you over here speaking on certain issues, and yet you kissing niggas.
Like, yo, did you laugh? Did you laugh?
When they said that to me?
Exactly.
Listen, man, first of all, I know who I am. I know how secure I am and who I am and my manhood.
Respect.
And, listen, man, there's a difference between reality and art and entertainment. And sometimes for dudes who are so macho, they don't want to be able to separate the two. Now, if I was on camera sucking a nigga's cock, that's a different conversation. But for what that was...
Slightly different.
Slightly different. But for what that was and who I am, man, that shit don't bother me. You know what I mean? I got access to so much pussy, whether I pay for it or get it for free. It don't mean nothing to me. It's a win either way. So I got too much access to pussy for me to trip over shit like that.
Yeah, quick question. Now, I mean, so I've been in the industry for 20 plus years, so I've been around my fair share of celebrities. So not to make you uncomfortable, but I'm gonna just throw it out there. How much pussy you get because you're famous? Come
on. Sometimes not as much as you think. Because sometimes,
but listen, politically correct.
No. I'm gonna give you the real. There's levels to this shit. And when you're Jay-Z, when you're Will Smith, when you're Denzel, when you're Michael Jordan or LeBron, pussy falls out the sky. But I'm not them, which is to say I can get it, and I do get it, but sometimes it works against you because the stigma is women go, I don't want to be another notch on your belt. I don't want to be a groupie. I ain't no hoe. So they fight against you because of it. Now, I believe once you reach that golden level, that Bruce Leroy for the 80s babies, and you get the glow.
When you got the glow.
When you got the glow, you get it regardless. For every woman that tells you no, there's 50 that say yes. I'm in the middle zone. I don't have the glow yet.
The funny thing is, it's so funny that you say Bruce Leroy, because I was gonna cue up like a sample of the master before this, like to kind of make it funny. But that's so funny, Bruce. You want to hear something funny about Bruce Leroy? So his name is Steinberg. Me and my twin brother used to break dance with him and his roommate Kenny in Manhattan.
Real quick, let me stop you, bro. I don't mean to stop you. Is Rob Love on?
Rob Love is on.
Motherfucker, mute your shit.
Rob, Rob, do me a favor. Mute your phone, please.
My phone says I'm muted, man. Let me see. I'm sorry, guys.
It's not. It's lying.
My phone is lying right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Every time they cut to your picture, I hear Russian interference.
The good thing is that I have I got both the gallery view and the speaker view that's recording, so I'll be able to just. All right. Hopefully. But Rob, mute your phone because I don't know how to mute you. I'm just learning. Yeah, there we go, baby. You muted. Listen, I love listening to you. Right now, my time.
There we go.
Anyway, let's see. What were we talking about?
Last Dragon.
Last Dragon. Oh, so me and my twin brother used to break dance with Timek and his roommate Kenny in Manhattan during the late 90s, early 2000s. So we all used to get together in their living room. We used to clear out all the furniture, and we used to practice breakdancing because we were all, hip hop babies. So shout out to Timek, shout out to Kenny, shout out to my twin brother. Hopefully he's on, but that's funny how like everything is connected. You see how small this world is? It's like I'm connected to Bruce Leroy.
It's all energy, baby.
Who's the one and only master? That shit used to make me and my brother go nuts when he would jump, he'd grab the fist. He was like,
I am, yeah.
I still get amped when I see that. I'm still like, yeah, fucking, yeah.
Catching bullets with his teeth, nigga, please. Yeah, baby.
There's deliver your pizza to Daddy
Green's Pizza. Yeah, your pizza. There we go.
Yo, that shit was like legendary at the time.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to talk more about like your performance and your craft. What do you listen to get you amped up before you go on to like slay the beast?
It varies, man. It's not everybody assumes I might be when they see me with my headphones on at the show. It's hardcore hip hop, and sometimes it is because that's just good energy warrior music. But sometimes I might just want to chill out to some Michael Bublé, some Miles Davis, some John Coltrane, something smooth. It ain't always got to be rough around the edges.
Little Bootsy Collins.
Yeah, man, something smooth, Yeah, there you go.
Oh shit! Listen, I was a '70s soul funk. I'm a respecter of all music. I kind of feel like I respect music more than the average person, so I give every genre a chance. And I fell in love with music as a whole. So
let me ask you a question. You might have seen me post this. You might have even answered it, but in case you didn't, let me pose this to you as a challenge. If you had to only have one source of entertainment in your life to choose from to the day you die, music or comedy?
Why you gotta put this pressure on me, bro?
Come on, baby. You know what I mean?
This is my first podcast.
It's all love, baby. Come hard, man.
Damn, I feel like I just fucking sniffed an 8-ball. Oh man.
And remember, you can't fuck the jokes.
Music or comedy? Okay. See, that's tough because I'm a musician and I'm in that world. But at the same time, it's like, do I want to listen to music all the time as my source of entertainment, or do I want to laugh and be told to? You know what? I might have to go against the grain and say comedy because in all fairness, it's like, who doesn't want to laugh?
Yeah.
Like depending.
But remember, you can't fuck the jokes.
Right. Exactly. Music. It really depends on your mood. Like, that selection of music might not be what you want, but, comedy, there's always going to be a laugh there. And, they say that, laughter can heal illness sometimes.
Right.
I'm a firm believer that, like, laughter and comedy can heal the sick. I feel like there's certain, endorphins that are released in the body when watching comedy that actually has like a healing, sort of effect. So,
right.
So if I had to choose between music and comedy, I'd probably choose comedy because laughter would probably, heal me, and that would, last a little bit longer. I always have the music in the mental memory that I can relive at any time as a musician and feel it with a passion. But yeah, that's a deep question. I didn't realize you were going to get so, Socratic and
I mean, it's a fun challenge. You know what I mean? Because both music is the soundtrack to our lives. We remember where we were when we did X, Y, and Z. We remember who we were with.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, we remember who we was fucking during that great song. So you feel like you can't live without music, but goddamn, who don't like to laugh?
I mean, listen. I mean, when we're talking about comedy, it's like I can remember listening to the early Adam Sandler comedy tapes, and getting ahead of my car as I was listening to it. So you know, I can dig it. So comedy, has that presence as well. So, let's talk about this. I've seen you on a lot of platforms, and I'm glad that you have your own platform and that people are. I mean, there's a lot of people that combat you for some reason, and I feel like I was going to ask you, how do you deal with all of the haters? Because you got a lot of right-wing, crazy motherfuckers. Now, keep in mind, those are the people that are in. These are people that are like sitting in grandma's basement, probably in like 3-day-old boxer shorts with a ripped shirt, not even on their computer, not paying for the Wi-Fi, having an opinion and spewing hate after hate after hate on some bullshit. So how much weed do you smoke to manage that?
Man, I almost look at it like, it's I love the challenge, you know what I'm saying? And plus it helps sharpen my I'm gonna fuck you up verbal skills. So, cause it's like I like to play with my food before I eat it. You know what I mean? And I know I'm gonna eat these motherfuckers. So, I like to play that mental game with you in terms of, can you outthink me? Can you out talk me? Can you say whatever it is you're gonna say once you put your mind and your mouth together to out chess me? And most people,
checkmate, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. So, and most of these dudes are regular civilians. They're not professional comedians. So for me, it's like Jordan playing pickup ball with a bunch of dudes who wish they could be in the NBA. I know I'm gonna get mine.
Gotcha.
And when they come at me, I almost look at it like the balcony scene in Scarface. Sosa's coming for me. Yeah, so come on, man. I love it. It's fun. It's entertainment.
That's great, man. And I love the confidence. When did you realize that you can do the actual impressions that you could do with rappers? Like, did you say one day, like, all right, let me just impersonate him, or like, did people say, yo, you fucking sound exactly like him right now because we were drunk somewhere?
Well, I've been doing the impressions thing since I was a little kid, like 7-8 years old. So once you just I always tell people it's like music. Everybody's voice, everybody's tone is a note and an inflection. And once you capture that note, you can be in key and in pocket with whether or not you could do that. DMS, dog, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? When the dog, the dog is real, you know what I mean? Dog, what I do, when it's time to do it. That's a note. Shaq with the bass and the breathiness.
I dominate the game. As long as I get 28-10, I'm going to dominate. When I dominate, I got the ball, and I know what I'm going to do.
That's a note. Hove in the building, nigga. Hey, buddy, and I ain't animated like, say, a Busta Rhymes, but the real shit you get when you break down my lines. That's the note. So if I can hit them notes, I got it.
Great. It's so impressive. Thank you. I feel like it's like you need to get paid every time like you do those impersonations.
I see it. Yeah, it's all good, man.
Yo, you want to hear something funny? I was watching the Joe Budden's podcast, and they were talking about how Hove is like suing the CGI company.
Let me ask you something real quick. Do you know Joe?
I don't. The closest that I know to Joe is his former DJ Doughboy. Shout out Doughboy. But
because I've been trying to get on his podcast for a minute, man.
Listen, I'm a huge fan of his. I literally have looked forward to waking up Monday mornings to knowing that the Joe Budden's podcast is popping. Today, I woke up and I was like, yes. I was like, the new Joe Budden's podcast is on right now. I could watch this for 2 hours, let me calm down, relax, smoke a pound of weed so I can, get ready for this podcast.
Yeah.
But I was watching and they were saying how Hove was suing the CGI company for impersonating his voice, and they were like, nah, that's just Aries Spears. It was pretty funny. So there's a CGI company, computer generated image that's basically pretending to be Hove, and sampling his voice and creating it to do crazy different things. So they were like, nah, that's just Aries Spears behind that, doing the Hove voice. So I thought that was pretty funny. So just so
wait, wait. So an actual company did this, or they said it was me?
No, there's a company that is actually doing this, and as a joke, they were like, "Oh no, that's probably just Aries Spears, doing hoes."
Right.
So just to give you perspective on the lay of the land, you're still very relevant because a podcast of that stature, mentioning your name.
Yeah, it's funny. Pardon me. Something that always gets me is when you going back to the people on the internet that talk shit. I don't know if you ever get this, but I'll read where people will say, "Hey man, you're washed up. Man, you ain't relevant." And it's always funny to me that this comes from people who don't have their passports filled. This comes from people who ain't in the 50% tax bracket. Like, in terms of perspective, what's your definition of washed? Because I'm not bragging on me, but I fly all over the world doing my dream. I'm in the 50, I'm in the 50% tax bracket. I don't pay to get into clubs and go to bars. A lot of times I get free drinks, free pussy, free meals. I'm living my dream while you're working in a cubicle or you answer to a boss. So what's washed up?
I agree. It's all about an individual's, level of success. From my perspective, you are of the, and I'm not trying to blow smoke with gas. I'm not trying to, big you up more than I need to just because you're my guest. But I kind of feel like you're at that level where there's no explanation even needed at this point. Like the innovative, approach to comedy, that you have had over the course of over 2 decades. Like washed? No, I'm a legend. Like, why is it? And I love that Nori does this on his podcast on Drink Champs, that he says, why in all other fields, when you've been working for over 20 years, you're looked at as a rock star and a legend, but in hip hop and in comedy, you're considered washed. No. It's like, what's your definition? I'm successful. It's like, I'm happy. I'm content. I say this on a lot of different platforms, but they say that 1% of all human beings, ever can chase their actual dream. 0.01% of that 1% actually gets a chance to live their dream.
Well, here's the thing, and all of that is because you can control your destiny, but the truth is most people don't pursue their dreams out of either fear or they don't know how. And fear will often stop them from learning how. So they would rather go, you know what? I'm content in this life I have. Am I living my dream? Am I getting the money that I want? Am I answering to a boss? Can I wake up when I want? Maybe no to all of that, but I'm surviving. And surviving is enough. But I say, why survive if that don't mean happiness? So let me tell you something. Ice-T, my man, he was. I think he did episode 14 of our podcast. He was a guest.
I was part of a group with Ice-T called Sex, Money, and Guns. Shout out to Iceberg, Smooth the Hustle.
Yeah. Okay, that's what's up. So, right and when I was on Twitter before I got banned, I read a couple of times where people would call Ice-T washed up, and it blew my mind because I'm like, first of all, let's not even talk about the music side of things. This motherfucker has been on Law and Order for over 20 years. That is a prime time 1-hour show on
one of my favorite
NBC. Do you know what that man's checks is like? Not to mention the residuals. Now throw in the rap career. Now throw in the body count when he tours overseas with his rap rock group. So just between the music, the rock group touring, and the TV show, how dare you? Like, if that's washed up, nigga, where do I sign up?
Exactly. And let's not forget,
insane.
Let's not forget all the tracks that he probably still controls and gets a residual from all those tricks on them streets, doing something strange for a little bit of change, trying to have some luck, trying to make these bucks. Better have a nerve for the motherfucking curve, you dig?
That's crazy, man.
So much respect to Ice-T. That's one of the people that basically I grew up listening to, and the fact that I was able to be in his presence for however many years. The stories that I could tell you about about IT, flip your mind. But I'm not gonna blow spots. And my thoughts and prayers go out to Coco's father, who's in the hospital with COVID. I really hope that he pulls together. This is a very dangerous disease, and I hope people take it seriously. So when they see that somebody like Ice-T and Coco are personally affected because Coco's father is in the hospital. I think he's been on a respirator for like 4 or 5 days. So, I hate even speaking on it, but, my thoughts and prayers are with that whole family, and I hope everything, works out for the best. Much respect to Ice-T, much respect to, your family, and I hope everything works out, in very, very short timing too. So, let's see, what else do we have to get to? Let's talk about your podcast, because I feel like the more visualization that you get and the more attention to this podcast that you can, possibly obtain, the better the world is. So talk to me. How was that conceptualized? How did that come to be? And, what is it that you're looking to accomplish in like your 5-year plan with that?
Well, the podcast I've been doing now going on 2.5 years. It's basically me and my feature comedian who opens up for me, and we tour together. So every week we're on the road. We record our episodes. Again, it's called Spears and Steinberg. And look, man,
Steinberg's a Jewish guy, right?
Yeah.
Hey, shout out, fellow member of the tribe. Appreciate it.
You know what I mean? Shalom. Yeah, that too. So yeah, man, listen, it's always first about the quality of the work. And we, because of this moist era we live in now of political correctness run amok, there's not many places you could go where you can hear honest conversation, unfiltered conversation. So that's number one. It's about the work. But listen, like I said, we're also in this because there's money to be made. And, Joe Rogan signed that $100 million deal over at Spotify. So there's money to be made. Whether or not we get to those heights, who knows? But
I'm glad you brought up that, because, obviously, me starting a podcast, and shout out to my team, Radio Pushers, because they put this all together. We're one of the, next level innovative digital promotional companies that basically are on the next level when it comes to promoting artists, comedians, entertainers, content creators. We have some really next level shit. So please check us out, radiopushers.com. Basically, let's see, how can I put this?
And real quick, for those of you who are interested in downloading the podcast, which of course it's free, DM me in my Instagram. My Instagram is my name, Aries Spears. Look for the blue check mark. I'll send you the link, but it's available on all streaming platforms: Anchor, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, iTunes. Download it. It's bananas, man.
Listen, I love it. Now, obviously, like there's great conversation between you and your partner. Now, because you and him have a comedy background, is it just natural for you guys to be funny, or is it really about people just like learning your personalities or your dynamic together? It's
a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. I always say on the podcast, and I tell Andy Steinberg, again, who's the Steinberg of the Steinberg podcast, I wish he would be funnier. He's very conversational. And listen, again, we're only 2.5 years in. So even though that's quite a bit of time, it's still baby years. So we're still trying to find our legs. I don't want to believe that I'm as good at it now as I will be in another 2 years. So neither is he. So we're both still trying to figure it out. But yeah, I always try to interject comedy with, serious conversation.
You know what it is? Because just like going back to you having that rapper's confidence, you have, there's an expression called Bushido, which is the warrior spirit. So you have that, within you because of your ability to be as witty as you can. It's like almost in like battle rap. It's like nobody's going to tell you shit because you have 13 things that you're already bubbling in that head. Like, I know as a content creator, as a lyricist, probably in the same thing in comedy, it's like yo, if this motherfucker gets slick with me, I got fucking 3 things that I can say to his pit bull ass that'll fucking put him right in his place. So, so it's like you have that Bushido warrior spirit about you that I know that resonates well, that you're a natural when you speak. Like I said, I'm not trying to like blow smoke up your ass and be like, oh, Aries, you're the best, you're the best.
But listen, when you say battle rap, here's what I love though. Again, I don't ever go somewhere and expect people to know me the way I know them. And the fact that both Loaded Lux and Murder Mook know who I am and gave me love, you know what I mean? That talking about that Bushido spirit and battle rap, you know, Loaded Lux has always been a monster. He's one of the icons in battle rap. So I
got a funny story about Murder Mook, you know, and shout out to Murder Mook.
Again, for that killer, that everything you talking about, the fact that they know me and that they're saying that to me validates, yeah, maybe I am, yeah. So I
know exactly what you mean. Like, so people know me in the industry for having like some real, like the most venomous bars that they've ever heard. So when I put up my like remixes and like, you know, I get people like, if I remix like I just recently did, what was it? Blase Blah, Danger, Part 2. You know, shout out my boy Smooth, Trigger, DV Alias Christ, and I bodied it. So when, you know, when Blase Blah hits me up and says, yo, good looking out, you know, that's the same exact thing as like when, you know, Murder Mook or Loaded Lux, you know, says, oh shit, I know you. So it's like when legends, you know, respect other legends, it's a fucking beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
It just lets you know you on the right track.
Exactly. Like it's inner validation. It's like, listen, you trolls on the internet don't fucking have a right to say shit to me because these motherfuckers who actually are motherfuckers say that I'm that motherfucker. So
right, there you go.
Let me tell you this funny story about Murder Mook. So, and shout out to Shampoo if you're still listening. YMBS. We used to run this spot called La Souk on Monday nights in Manhattan before, you know, when going outside actually was something. So I used to cut off all the paper, so there was nothing left in the blunt, and I handed it to Murder Mook, and he's like, bro, what the fuck is this? And I was like, I didn't realize. I was like, all right, listen, this is fucking Murder Mook. You know, I'm one of the, you know, baddest lyrical rappers in the world. I was like, I'll be damned if I'm gonna be the butt of the next one of his punchlines.
Right.
So I knew that next Monday, I was like, I hope he's there. Only because from a real lyricist, I respect real lyricists. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whether he likes me or not, we've always seemed to be cool. So it seems cool. So I rolled like the biggest blunt that I fucking could, packed this motherfucker out, almost damn near a Godfather. And so next time I saw him, I was like, yo, Mook. I was like, what up, player? I was like, respect. I was like, I think I even walked away. I was like, nah, that's you. I was like, that's all for you right there. So, because I ain't trying to be the butt, you know, of his joke, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then that shit goes viral, and it's like, oh shit, this motherfucker, like, he really ain't a smoker. He's bullshitting. Like,
no doubt. Hey, JopauL, man, I got to jump on a phone with call with Afion Crockett in about 10 minutes.
No doubt.
So you got me for another 10, baby.
Another 10. Okay, let's see. What can we say? Now we just, you know, shooting the shit, which is great. Here's something. What do you want the people out there to know about you in terms of, and this might get a little uncomfortable. Why is it that you do not get the respect that you deserve? Now, I know that there's a couple of different parts of your career that people may or may not know, might have been documented. What is it that has stunted you from getting the respect of, you know, I mean, don't worry, I hear everyone shout you out, but why is it that you are not a gazillionaire famous, being casted in all of the movies with Kevin Hart? Why is it that people have not given you the respect that you deserve?
Listen, I'm gonna take some of the responsibility. You know, I didn't have anybody coming in. Remember, I started when I was 14 and I was fed to the lions early. I didn't have anybody to pull my coattail about this industry and go, sometimes you gotta shut the fuck up. You can't always be as vocal as you wanna be. And timing is important. once you get to a certain level where you're locked in because you're bankable at the box office, then you can run your mouth a little bit. But until you reach that level, you got to take your steps wisely. And, you know, I've never bit my tongue. And listen, I've said some things that when I look back on it, I regret because, you know, I wasn't as educated on the subject. And I may have said some things coming from a place that was just wrong. And I didn't always articulate it the right way. Even if I believed in what I was saying or my intentions were right, I just didn't articulate it well. And it came off so, you know, it came off a certain way. So I've said some things to cause my own demise a little bit. But I also know that, you know, this industry is sensitive. So even when you're right, it's best to just shut the fuck up. I remember I had dinner with Chris Rock once, and I was trying to get him to produce something for me. And long story short, at the end of the meeting, which he kind of let me know he wasn't going to do it, but he said to me, look, I'm going to give you some advice. Keep writing, stay funny, and try not to piss these white folks off. I know now what that meant. So, you know, yeah, man, I you know, this industry is a certain way. And I didn't do a good job of navigating myself through some of the pitfalls. But the good news is this. As long as I don't do anything stupid or heinous, this is the kind of industry where the moment you prove you're bankable, everything changes. I once had an agent tell me, look, if Hitler could open a movie for the weekend, he'd be a star. You know, so it's all about that money, man. And the good thing also is, like, because of social media now, you know, back in the 80s and the 90s, even the early 2000s, before the blow up of social media, you only had one avenue, a couple of avenues, and everything had to run through either TV or movies, be it the networks or the studios. Now, because of social media, you can create your own lane. You can backdoor it. It's not as easy as the major channels because there's still the bully on the block.
But you can reach your fans directly now.
Yeah, but there's a way to still get. Another way to get it done. So the bottom line is this: as long as you get it done, however you get it done, like that, things can flip. It could be, you know, Jay-Z said a quote. I loved it. All you got to do is be right once. Whether it's a commercial, a movie, a TV show, a stand-up special, a viral video, all you got to do is be right once with one of those, and everything changes.
Listen, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Thomas Edison, you know, took 1,000 different chances, you know, to try and create the light bulb. You know what I'm saying? But it just took that one time. Boom.
And incidentally, from a history standpoint, it was a black man that created the filament to get it to work. You know, that's like with Jack Daniels. Yeah, Jack Daniels' name is on the bottle, but the man really responsible for the liquor was a black guy. Behind every great white invention, a black man did it.
Well, salute to him because it tastes delicious. Aries, listen, I so appreciate your time. The fact that, you know, you are of legendary stature and you took this much time for me, I greatly appreciate it. We're definitely going to get up, you know, as soon as this COVID thing is over. If we could work together in the future, that'd be great. Anything that I could do to help you or assist you or anything like that with anything, you know, I'm more than happy to do it. Why don't you tell everyone where they can check you out one more time and to DM Aries to get the link to his podcast, which is
just DM me on Instagram under Aries Spears. Make sure you see the blue check mark so you know it's me, verified. Spears and Steinberg, like I said, available on all streaming platforms. And like I told you when we had a pre-conversation, I want to call you later today to discuss some other things with you business-wise and see how we can take this to the next level.
Let's go. Well, I mean, just to give you a tiny bit of background, I ran the business division of JP Morgan for, you know, over like, I mean, I wouldn't say the entire division, but I mean, I had a nice little territory for, you know, about 8 years, you know, so I have a good business sense. So You know, let's talk. And I'm Jewish, so I'm good with money, baby. You know what I'm saying?
That always helps.
Exactly. I protect the pennies, you know, like down to the last cent. Shit. We're in a
Why
recession right now.
Why you think I'm fucking with Steinberg?
Hey, listen, I love it, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, listen, thank you so much. I appreciate
it, bro.
We're definitely going to work together in the future. Everyone, this is your boy JopauL from the podcast sponsored by Radio Pushers. We out, baby. Thank you so much, Aries Spears.
All right, you got it, baby. No doubt. Love.